Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. 5 articles in this episode for you in the description of the video for your convenience in case you want to do some research on them. I'm going to make sure that our audio is working here. Jump into the news. Hamster is spinning. 5 articles. There we go. Okay. The first one that we have here is off of Dose. This is basically a two-part, two articles here on this. The first one says, just in, Kentucky man arrested after shooting down spy drone that was hovering over his sunbathing daughter. Shotgun blast. A 47-year-old man in Kentucky recently shot down a drone flying over. When this Kentucky man realized the drone was hovering above his daughter while she sunbathed in the backyard, a perfectly rational decision, he shot it down. Now this homeowner is in deep trouble for it. My daughter, Dad, there's a drone out here flying. Age 47 told the local Fox News affiliate reported Tuesday. The Bullitt County father shot at the drone near his yard Sunday night. The drone claims he was only trying to take pictures of a friend's house, the station reported. I shotgun and said, I'm not going to do anything unless it's directly over my property, Mr. Meredith said, noting that he disappeared when his daughter waved it off. So here it came. It was hovering over top of my property, and I shot it out of the sky. I didn't shoot across the road. I didn't shoot at my neighbor's fences. I shot directly into the air. 4 men tried to confront him after the drone was shot out of the sky, but then they saw his personal firearms. I had my 40 millimeter, and then they started toward me, and I told them, if you cross my sidewalk, there's going to be another shooting. Station arrested the homeowner soon afterward. Changed there about my weapon and carry. It was completely legal, he said. Reported. Long story short, after that, they took me to jail for wanton first degree and criminal mischief. Shotgun into the air. He is looking into what legal action he could take. Incident. He said he only fired his weapon because it was hovering over his home. Our rights are being trampled daily, he said. Not on a local level only, but on a state and federal level. Laws in place to handle these kind of things. The fact that William Meredith shot down and destroyed someone's personal property, we can hardly blame him. Serious point that privacy laws should be updated to prevent drone from prying into your personal space directly over your home. Next article that I have is still about this. Of drb.com, and it says this is charged for a man who shot down a drone, and there's some video footage in this if you want to pull that up to see that for yourself. It says a Bullitt County District Court judge has dismissed all charges against a man who shot down a drone he said was flying over his property. William Meredith began Monday afternoon. He shot down a drone in Hillview earlier this year. Meredith said the operator was violating his privacy and spying on his family, but Hillview police arrested Meredith for firing his gun within city limits and charged him with wanton endangerment. Monday's hearing in Bullitt County over 2 hours, and based on the judge's ruling, William Meredith says he feels vindicated. Was it handled the right way? I don't think so, but justice came out in the end, Meredith said. He's been saying all along since shooting down the drone in July. Meredith says it was hovering over his Hillview property and he thought it was spying on his family. Protect my family and my property, said Meredith. Also agree that you chose to allow that drone to hover over some of those people's property there on, said Meredith's attorney. No, that's not true, replied Boggs. Hearing, Boggs testified that showed the drone was flying higher than Meredith stated, but Judge Rebecca Ward said that since at least 2 witnesses could see the drone below the tree line and the privacy, he had a right to shoot, and I'm going to dismiss this charge, says Ward. Both charges against Meredith, including criminal mischief and wanton endangerment. I wasn't surprised at all. Never came about, Meredith said about the wanton endangerment charge. Last week, Representative Diane St. Ong pre-filed her drone harassment bill for the 2016 session. A person is guilty of harassment when they hover over someone's property or use a drone for no legitimate purpose, alarm or seriously annoy someone. The next time something like this happens, they're going to refer to it, Meredith said, about future cases involving drones. People to just go out and start blasting stuff for no reason, but there are times, but 3 times in one day, 3 times over the course of a year, 6 times total over one property, that's not right. That's harassment. On-camera interview with WDRB Monday, he will push the Commonwealth Attorney Office to take the case to the grand jury. First information, and I wanted to bring that out because people flying drones these days, you might want to be careful what you're doing with them things. I have here live.com. Waiting for the hamster to catch up to me. This is one of 3 charges against Marcus Mumford and orders bench trial. Are aware that back during the Oregon case on the Oregon standoff situation thing, after the plaintiffs were acquitted, the attorney for Ammon Bundy got into the court work that said that they could still hold the Bundys. The article says, federal judge Thursday dropped one of the 3 criminal charges against Mark Ammon Bundy's lawyer and ruled he'll issue a verdict on the other 2 charges, not a jury. John C. Cohenauer dismissed a charge that accused Mumford of creating a disturbance by impeding the official duties of government officers because it encompassed the same conduct alleged in the second, failing to comply with official signs that prohibit the disruption of federal officers' work. Declined to grant Mumford a jury trial as requested, or his motion to dismiss all the charges. You can, or link you can click on to gain the document here about that ruling. The article continues. It says Mumford's lawyer Michael Levine has argued that the deputy U.S. Marshals engaged in outrageous government misconduct and lacked authority to wrestle Mumford to the ground and stun him with a taser gun while he was arguing on behalf of Bundy in a federal court last fall. Bundy was acquitted of all charges on October the 27th of 2016 at the end of a 5-week trial stemming from the occupation of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Here, the transcript and video footage do not support such finding, the judge wrote. The U.S. Marshals conduct does not rise to the level that shocks the conscience. U.S. Attorney Holmes this week defended the charges, was blocking marshals from taking Bundy back into custody at the end of the trial. When Mumford resisted arrest, he was stunned with a taser, Holmes said. Said in his ruling, it appears from the transcript and the courtroom video that the defendant interfered with the marshals taking his client into custody. He referred to Mumford's argument in the U.S. District Judge Anna J. Brown at the conclusion of the trial. Free, Your Honor. also denied a request by Mumford's lawyer to hold an evidentiary hearing before trial. The judge said the judge said the record as it stands is sufficient. The judge wasn't swayed by Levine's argument that the marshals didn't have authority to act against Mumford while he was advocating for his client in court, or that the charges against him are vague. Kogenauer held that the Congress, the Department of Homeland Security, to establish regulations with criminal penalties relating to the protection of federal property, similar to powers it has granted to the National Park Service, Forest Service, and Bureau of Land Management. Was not charged with violating the regulations or making arguments in the courtroom, the judge wrote. The allegations is that the defendant interfered with the U.S. Marshals taking custody of his client. A person of ordinary intelligence would understand that interfering marshal removing a defendant who was in the custody following the completion of court constitutes a disruption of the performance of a marshal's duties. For April 13th, on the two remaining misdemeanor charges, failing to comply with the courthouse signs that prohibited the disruption of federal officers' duties and failing to comply with federal officers' direction and resisting and to place his hands behind his back. On the dismissal of one charge, Levine said Thursday afternoon, "Hey, 1 out of 3 ain't bad." Ruled, "I respect his ruling and will go on to trial," Levine added. Rulings, Kogenauer ordered prosecutors to turn over to Mumford's lawyer and any text messages between marshals, federal protective service officers, or court security on their government-issued cell phones that reveal hostility toward Mumford or anyway cast doubt on their credibility. The government also must turn over information that casts doubt on a witness's credibility as required by law, the judge noted. To order prosecutors to produce any records from the meeting jurors after the trial of Bundy and 6 co-defendants, finding those materials are in the possession of a district judge of criminal procedure. Mumford's lawyers had sought that material, noting that the judge described events leading to Mumford's arrest to jurors who had filed out of the courtroom just before the skirmish. A judge from the Federal Western District of Washington has presided over the case. Prosecutors were recused from it. Room deputy, court reporter could be called as witnesses at trial, Levine said. All because he wanted the paperwork that was able to hold a man after he had been acquitted on all charges. Next article we have here is off the dailycaller.com. 20 TSA agents caught smuggling, or no, let's try that again. TSA agents caught smuggling 20 tons of cocaine. Isn't that amazing? I mean, you know, they apparently can in the airport do as they please, think that they're cops, and get away with smuggling cocaine as well. And I'm waiting for the hamster to get the article up here so I can read it to you. A little bit slow this morning. Come on, hamster. While he's horsing around with that one, I think I got the other one here, maybe. Going, we'll go ahead with that. Back to okay, we'll go ahead and do this one because it's up here. It's ready to rock. It's off of Breitbart. TSA. A man has been hospitalized with severe head injuries after someone stole his pickup truck during the Oroville evacuation and ran him over. You know, we reported about this Oroville spillway situation and the floods in California. Well, this guy was seriously injured. It says Cameron Asbury, age 33, was packing up his family's belongings after receiving the evacuation order Sunday afternoon when an unidentified man hijacked the vehicle and sped away. I mean, can you imagine? Old KPIX that he and his son got into another vehicle and chased the truck onto Farley Street in Oroville. Just leave the truck, man. Just jump out and leave the truck, Cameron's father said. Instead of getting out of the truck, the man hit the gas and ran Cameron over. Father. Can't make this stuff up. The unidentified man fled the scene in the stolen vehicle, was still at large. Head and facial injuries and was in critical condition after several surgeries, but his father said he is now stable. And there is a picture of him is beat all the hell up. Wow. This department is incident. Family was among 188,000 residents in Oroville, Feather River, who were ordered to evacuate Sunday. Dam's auxiliary spillway appeared to be on the brink of collapse. Governor Jerry Brown issued an emergency order to strengthen California's response to potential collapse of the spillway and asked President Trump for aid. The request. Local officials allowed some residents to go home Tuesday after the workers' efforts to lower the level of the lake succeeded. Rocks were also used to plug a hole in the spillway that threatened its collapse. Go back to this TSA article and see if it wants to load now. And we'll refresh on it and see if it will bounce up here. I'm seriously going to have to get a new hamster. Poor little guy, he's only got 3 legs and 1 eye, and I think he's only got about half a functioning brain cell left and wore out. For some reason, he's not wanting to bring this article up here. Goodness sakes. Why it's giving me so much trouble, because I've a couple of times today referring to it for various reasons. Here we go. There we go. TSA agents caught smuggling 20 tons of cocaine from Puerto Rico. A dozen airport Security Administration employees were arrested in February for allegedly operating a massive cocaine smuggling ring. Of the conspiracy, the defendants smuggled suitcases at least 18 to 25 kilograms of cocaine security system at Luis Monroe's Marin National Airport in Puerto Rico. The U.S. Department of Justice, or the DOJ, announced Monday in a press release. It includes 6 current and former TSA employees of smuggling roughly 20 tons of cocaine through the airport from 1998 to 2016. That's more than a ton a year, approximately $100 million. Due to typical airport security conducted by fellow TSA employees, the sting operation had to be coordinated and planned out. The defendants were allegedly able to traffic the narcotics by framing security responsibilities and sending the illicit packages through the typical checked and carry-on luggage avenues. For instance, a privately employed baggage handler would transport the cocaine packaged luggage from the drug mules at the airline check-in counter. He would then place a suitcase into the X-ray machine that he monitored by fellow colluders at the TSA. Cleared the initial security screening, the illegal luggage would be transported to its designated flight while ensuring that no narcotic canine units or law enforcement personnel were present for the final transfer. Was to notify a member of the drug trafficking organization that the goods were aboard and subsequently direct the mules to board the plane. Conspiratorial TSA employees were paid for rising the drug-filled bags. These individuals were involved in a conspiracy to traffic massive quantities of illegal narcotics to the continental United States. Rodriguez Velez, U.S. Attorney for the District of Puerto Rico. These arrests success of the AIR initiative, which has successfully allocated a group of state and federal law enforcement officers whose mission is to ensure that our airports are not used in the drug traffickers' illicit businesses. The justice system touts the arrest as proof of its great work. The TSA agents TSA agents in intricate operation shows that the government agency is flawed. The rogue TSA agents' involvement in drug trafficking isn't the first example. Agents of the Department of Homeland Security themselves as normal passengers in 2015 and brought various forbidden weapons to test TSA employees' security capabilities. TSA agents were only able to detect 3 out of 70 weapons, a failure rate of 95%. The results were so poor that Melvin Caraway, the then acting chairman of TSA, immediately resigned. Think? Step up. Holy moly. Oh, well, that's all I have in this episode for you, but there's going to be more episodes to follow. I've got a bunch of to bring you this morning, so stay tuned. And if you like what I'm doing, give it a thumbs up and share it on your social media so everybody gets to enjoy the news. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and that way you'll stay informed.